Hey, also, I'm here with another review and waiting on my 6-year-old right now at the bus stop, so I figured now was a good time with my 3-year-old here. Benjamin, say hi. Benjamin, say hi. You don't want to say hi? Okay. I just want to talk about something that's been on my mind. Very important day and night. The Rings of Power. I think the second season's pretty good. Like, the first season, I understand it wasn't the best. There was a lot of a lot of the characters were just boring in the first season, and the amount of time they spent with who I'm assuming is Gandalf to be, and the little hobbit wannabe, like, it was just so boring, just over and over. Like, I didn't care at all. But the second season has been a lot better, and mainly because excuse me, they focused on Sauron. And Sauron's just a lot more interesting of a character. And the actor that portrays him, I think, just does the best job out of anyone on the cast. Like, he has this sinister kind of way about him, and even when, spoilers, he starts kind of going undercover midway through the second season, like, you can still, like, see that he has this evilness underneath him, and he portrays that very well. And yeah, so the second season has been good so far. The first season, I'd give that like a 4, even like a 3 out of 10. It was just very boring. I'll never get over all the slow motion in the first season. Oh my, you had the Galadriel horse thing. I literally laughed. I was like, are we serious with this? That was the most cringy thing I've seen in Lord of the Rings. Even blew away anything in The Hobbit. But yeah, the second season has been a lot better. They focused a lot less on the characters. I think they recognized were more boring, and the characters, I still think Galadriel's like she portrays Galadriel well, but it's just kind of, sometimes it is a boring character. I do like that they have made her have some weaknesses though in this season, which that was my gripe on the first season, where she just seemed invincible. Like, this season she seems a lot more vulnerable, which I enjoy. The dwarf storyline has been amazing. Granted, I have one more episode to go, and I just had to get it off my chest because it's been good. It's been, if I was to give a rating right now, I'd give it like an 8. Let's say a 7 out of 10. I haven't seen the finale yet, but it's massively improved over the first season. One thing I do have a gripe with, though, and maybe someone in the comments can answer just why this is why does it look cheap? It just looks like they spend so much money on this show, and it just looks cheap sometimes. Okay, in the second season, at one point, they set down an anvil, which is supposed to be used to help, make the rings. And so you're expecting, like, okay, this cool looking, like, even like subconsciously, you're just expecting, okay, it's going to be like a badass, anvil. But it's just, it looks something out of Roadrunner. It just drops, and it's just like, looks like an anvil. It's the most boring looking thing ever. So it's just stuff like that, and their weapons sometimes just look cheap, and their armor nothing looks worn in the whole show. I'll say that. Nothing looks like it's seen battle. It's like they just went to Hobby Lobby and bought a bunch of weapons. Somehow they got their weapons from Hobby Lobby. Like, everything just looks like rubbery and new. It doesn't look used in any sort of way. That's my main gripe with it, honestly. Like, the acting's improved in the second season. The storylines have improved. They focus less on the, characters I think they recognize were boring, but the overall look of the show is just off. And the other reason I thought that is because I, obviously grew up watching Lord of the Rings, and I'm one of those, have all the lines memorized and all of that stuff. And I think there is something to say about the frame rate, because I forget what it is, but like, movies are done, especially during that time, at that lower frame rate, and I think it helps alleviate some of the issues where you see something like that's just fantasy, and can't accept how it is because it's in like, you know, 240p, and you're just like, wait, why is that? That's just, it just kind of takes you out of it. Maybe that's it. But I do think there's also an element of them just cheaping out on some of the equipment and the look of it. So, but no, besides that, it's been much improved, and I'd recommend it, especially if you're into Lord of the Rings. And okay, if you're one of those, here's another gripe I might have: these people that are like, oh my, it's in the Silmarillion, there was actually 5 Silmarils, and that's what they based this on, and at this point the rings should have already been in the hands of the men, and blah blah, like with the timelines. Like, they don't, it's not gonna follow it to a T. So if you're a lore purist, I guess, and a Tolkien enjoyer, I'll say, to put it nicely, you may find some gripes with it. But for me, who just enjoys Lord of the Rings, and I have read the books too, but I enjoy the movies and can enjoy just kind of letting go of a lot of that may not line up with all the lore in the books. So it's not as big a problem for me, but I know for some people, like some really hardcore fans, that may be an issue. But anyways, yeah, to me, the highlights of Sauron, the highlights are how they made Galadriel more vulnerable, more of an interesting character, and the whole dwarf storyline. Just all of that is really well done, and how they show the ring slowly corrupting in the dwarfs. Like, I feel like it's very coy what happened with the dwarfs, and just to like show a lot of that happening is very interesting to me. So, which I usually don't even like dwarfs very much in like fantasy settings, so they did a really good job in my opinion to make me care about the dwarf storyline that much. But yeah, anyways, that's about it.